So Verge is pretty awesome. It's like you said, a reimagining of Bonsai, which is a map from World at War.
Yep.
And we were really excited to bring this back, and fans have been asking for this because it offers some of those challenges just built into the map. It has really high verticality from Bonsai with this bridge, this cave system. There's a lot of ways to flank around. But Verge, how we've reimagined it and transformed it, is a desolate wasteland set in a post-apocalyptic future where these two warring nations...
So it's a happy map.
It's a very happy map.
Okay, got it. All right.
So these two warring nations are fighting over the last good water source. Now what that really means is they wake up at 9 a.m. and they clock in, grab your weapon, go to the bridge, fight the other side at 5 p.m., okay, clock out and go back to sleep, rinse and repeat. But it's got a very cool look. It's very, very different than other maps that we've ever done before visually.
Well, whenever you talk about reimagining maps, Nuketown or Skyjacked, talk to me a little bit about core movement. How does core movement factor into Verge? How did you take something that was, I mean, when you think about World at War and the original setting of Bonsai, how did you look to translate that this time around?
Bonsai from World at War was one of my favorite maps from that game. And when we looked at that, looking back, it's got the bridge, like he said, so you've got the verticality there. In World at War, we didn't have thrust jump, so you couldn't really interact with the ground level and the bridge. We had elements of water in World at War. We had no swimming. Now we have thrust jump, swimming. So we look at that and we say, how can we kind of bring that up to Black Ops 3?
Sure.
So we've still got the classic bridge. You can clock in, go to work, fight the other side. But now with wall running, if you want to be clever, maybe you've got some advanced movement, you can wall run along those sides of the bridge. May face a sniper, but if you've got the moves, if you've got the skills to pay the bills, you may make it across. And then at the same time, if you jump off the bridge in Bonsai and World at War, probably going to die. Now we've got the thrust jump, we've got the water, so you're going to be able to bail out of the bridge on both sides, dive into the water, you can kind of flank around. So we brought some of those elements, the swimming, which we love, the verticality of the bridge, and kind of married those two, which wasn't possible in Bonsai.
All right. Well, let's move on to Spire. All right. So this takes place in a suborbital airport terminal.
Yeah.
Suborbital.
Yes.
Just
bunch of fancy
it's just like
words.
a sexy word.
It is. It's very
So
nice.
tell us about this sexy map.
So this map is very sexy looking in that it's a very, very clean and futuristic take. Lots of curves, lots of very interesting shapes and architecture.
Sure.
But the premise is that in the future, of course, they could build these huge spires, and they've built these airports off of these spires to get into suborbital and get around the Earth, in minutes, basically. So you're fighting on one of these terminals, basically, in this airport, and it's pretty awesome how it is. You fight in a lot of clean areas, you're fighting through these terminals, and it feels like an airport, but it also feels very unique because there's a lot of core movement that we've done in it as well.
The volcano.
Yes, it's I don't want to say...
Hyper-realistic.
It's super realistic, yes. But it's got a good contrast to the pack, and we've never done a map, in Black Ops like this. It is very, very militaristic, industrial. There's girders everywhere. It's dirty. It's not a place you want to be, and it's sort of intimidating. You've got this volcano, this caldera that you're over, and the whole map is basically a suspended rail system where they are getting these minerals out, and they are supplying the war effort by just actively pulling things out of the volcano and transporting them all around the world. But because of that locale, it's offered some interesting things that we can do with some of the core movement and overall map design.
Yep, I can speak to that. I assume that's what the hand gesture was. So this one is, we're really forcing the engagements on Rift.
Mm-hmm.
If you run forward, you will meet an enemy. It's not like some of the other maps where you're going to have kind of these exterior routes where you can just completely lose your enemy. In this one, we've got what I've been referring to as kind of soft flanks.
Sure.
To where you're going to run into that enemy. But we give you these opportunities to be clever and, take the middle, for example. The middle is going to be a very head-on battle. But at the same time, we're trying something new with a wall run in the middle that's going to allow you to kind of be clever, and if you've got the skill set, you can kind of pull one of those soft flanks and surprise the enemy, but it's very high risk.
Yeah, this map is very different. This one, the challenge was how do you get as head-on engagement as possible, where you run forward and the only way through is killing the enemy or finding some clever way to use the core movement mechanics, which is very different than the maps we shipped and even DLC 1. And we really accomplished that, where each of the lanes, you're going to hit an enemy and you have two options. You either kill him or figure out a clever way to use core movement to get around him.
All right, last map, Knockout. This one, love this one. Miles, tell us a little bit about the setting.
So Knockout is a really fun map. On top of the gameplay stuff that is really unique is it looks like a traditional map, Asian-style Shaolin temple from the outset, and you got this tournament map that's got blood and teeth on it. But the twist to this map and the contrast is that it's actually a privately owned island. So
Yeah.
a super rich dude, right, like yourself, John.
Well, this sounds like my bachelor pad. I mean,
well-
I almost feel like you guys have like peered into my life.
We
so
did.
well. Yeah.
All of our reference images were from your
Yeah,
private
yeah.
island.
Okay, okay.
But it's basically this guy that has built this really authentic Shaolin temple because he's really into martial arts, and he hires people to come and fight for him on his tournament. But he also loves the 70s, and he loves old school kung fu.
Again, the parallels are amazing here.
So the interiors, there's one where it's a disco. The guy has his own personal disco with the floors light up, and he's got a disco ball. So you're outside and you're looking at this very traditional Asian urn, this dragon that's very intimidating, but then you can bust a move by going into the disco for a few minutes, slaying a few people, and then cut out to the rooftops where you can use some of the core movement.
Enter the Dragon Goes Disco.
Yeah.
We're going to mix it up a bit. Rather than do the gameplay trailer,
Yeah.
I brought a little special asset. I say bring, I mean, we're in Treyarch, so it's here anyway. But we're going to show the intro cinematic to DLC 2.
Say it isn't so.
It is so.
All right. Well, with that, the premiere of Zetsubo no Shima IGC. Enjoy.
密航者どもをデッキへ上げろ。恥さらしめが日本を裏切り陛下にあだなすとは。Take it easy, Tack. どうやって手に入れたんだこの異物を。I'm sorry. I don't speak Japanese. 誰か答えられないのか The object in your hand? It's gonna bring you nothing but pain. Believe me, I know. ネズミどもを海に叩き落とせ I am an envoy of the Emperor himself. I am no traitor! That was close. Yes, a little too close. We must go now.
Get the season pass now. 4 DLC packs, one great price.